Greetings, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or whatever timeline or alternate reality you currently exist in. Welcome to Transdimensional Realities, where we delve into the stranger aspects of our perceived existence. I'm your host, Milyssa Lee. And first off, I'm going to apologize for such a long hiatus between my last show and now. I was doing a little bit of traveling and I had some personal issues to deal with, like we all have to every now and then. But now I'm back on track. Thankfully, we're in spring full force here in New Jersey. Everything's blooming, trees have leaves, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Now the weather needs to make up its mind if it wants to be hot or cold. Pick a day and it's different. So, anyway, I want to introduce our first guest. Now, our guest tonight is Charles Esquerda. Now, Charles has been interested in esotericism and spiritual development from an early age. He is currently a member of the Alcione Association, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to sharing knowledge related to prophecies, extraterrestrial civilizations, and spiritual development. So please welcome Charles Esquerda to the program. So, hi, Charles. Welcome to the program.
Hello, Milyssa. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. I hope you're good. So, thank you for coming on and wanted to talk a little bit about you, your background, and how do you pronounce it? Is it the Alcione? Uh,
Alcione. Alcione.
Alcione
Yes.
Association. Yeah, what is the Alcione Association?
Well, the Alcione Association is a non-profit organization based in Spain, but with members and sympathizers from other countries all over the world. And we are mainly devoted to the spiritual development of the human being and the spread of some practices, specific practices that were given by author V.M. Rabolu through a book titled Hercolubus or Red Planet.
Okay.
And okay, yes. Apart from those practices, the book that we spread for free, completely from free, for free, talk about the coming times, also the alien intelligences in other planets which are contacting us, and also the work we can do within us, a practical base, mainly a practical that anyone can do without any type of cost or the need to go somewhere else. They can do it. They can do those practices at home in their everyday life, which is the most interesting part. And through those practices, we start reaching other levels of consciousness, which is the interesting for us, interesting objective, which to go beyond matter, to go beyond what we know physically. We need to start within. I mean, the door to what is beyond the physical is within us, and that's what we try to share and to explain the best we can.
Now, how did you get involved in this? I mean, your bio said you started at a very early age with interest in these subjects. Have you had your own personal experiences, and what led you down this path?
Yes, I started quite young at 14, started doing yoga and then went through different disciplines, a bit of martial arts to Zen and Tai Chi. I came across, also read a lot of from spiritual masters and authors and started to build my own understanding, which I think is what we all have to do, and uh, um, reached a place, or we would say, a knowledge that I understood was shared by all the great cultures and civilizations in history, which is the self-knowledge. So what you obtain through a practical work, and that's it. Then you can you don't need to follow anyone. You just need to follow what you start experiencing in yourself. Obviously, with common sense, of course. I mean,
Mhm.
not through any substance or not through any you would say weird practice, but through the simplest of the practices, which is self-observation, meditation, uh, contact with the inner being that is inside each of us. And that's really simple, but sometimes what we forget. So that was a little bit my path through this, through my life on all those disciplines that there, all of them are valid at a certain point, but I think we need to go beyond that and start experiencing our real, the real knowledge, which is within us. We just need to get rid of all that, the obstacles we have inside, which are mainly psychological, emotional, psychological, and all we have built in a wrong way. And that's that one of the practices, which the dissolution of the ego, the dissolution of all the internal defects that are preventing from experiencing the reality of life and the world. So that's a gradual work we can do within us. We should do within us, and nobody else can do for us. And that's the daily work that we are sharing and trying to explain to anyone.
That that's actually a common, excuse me, a common theme where you have all these outside institutions, forces, whatever, that are trying to get you to turn to them for the answers when you really have the answers in yourself. Where if you're able to go within, connect with your higher self, higher mind, all the answers are there. It's just you have to allow yourself to be able to shut out all the noise, listen to yourself, and you can connect. It's using a religious phrase, even though I'm personally not religious, but Jesus once said, "The kingdom of heaven is within you." Well, that
Correct.
means is it's inside of you already to be able to connect to these higher spiritual forces, concepts, um, and ignoring the outside noise that keeps trying to get in.
I completely agree. That's a great sentence, and it's a summary of all we're talking about. So we need to start knowing ourselves, to start going into our deep nature, which is our real being and the kingdom of God, as you
Mm-hmm.
just pointed out. So that specific book, Hercolubus or a Planet, apart from talking about some prophecies, um, points out the need to know ourselves and give the practices that we're talking. I mean, the summary of the practice, which is the death of the ego, elimination of the ego, self-observation, and then also to open the door of the astral dimension, to which we enter every night, but in an unconscious way, unfortunately. So we need to turn that unconscious experience into a conscious experience, both during the day and also at night. So that's also for us an important issue.
Yes, I would like to remember what goes on at night because I do agree with you, and I feel that we are having uh, astral journeys at night during our sleep. And I used to dream all the time of flying. Uh, and I always felt so exhilarated after that, which really was memories, I think, of out of body experience or astral travel, however you want to look at it. But haven't had one of
Okay.
those in a while.
But if you start having more conscious dreams and remembering them, and even mm, going to trying to repeat some of the dreams, so entering the sleep time with a desire or a will, a will to go into one of those dreams, then you can be, let's say, your own guide in that dream. It could be lucid dreaming or astral projection. And we we should realize that in the astral dimension, which is more subtle than the physical, there are lots of answers and also knowledge we can gradually get from there.
What about with when you're talking about meditation? I struggle with meditation because I have trouble shutting this off, as I call the monkey brain. Uh, it
Okay.
just it just goes hog wild all over the place when I'm trying to calm my thoughts, calm my mind, and bits of songs pop in or just all this clutter, and I can't quiet my mind.
Well, that's the starting point. As you say, I mean, uh, it cannot be a meditation without a good concentration.
Mhm.
So, first step is concentration. Concentration means having just one thought in
Mhm.
some way. I mean, letting the rest of thoughts, images, songs, whatever comes to our mind, letting that go away and going back to our objective, that is concentration. With time and will and practice, we reach that. And once there's just one thought in our mind, then it's just one step to meditation.
Mhm.
Stop that thought, and your mind, uh, in different levels, goes still. And our mind is like a radio transmitter. I mean, it's a radio. It can receive and can transmit. While transmitting, cannot receive anything. So that's what we are saying. We must stop transmitting. Transmitting means having thoughts, having forgotten something. I have to remind that. I have to do that after the meditation over there. So all those are, you know, other activities preventing the mind to receive conscious information. So all that is mechanical. We are mechanical beings because of our internal ego, our that bunch of defects, which could be fear, greed, pride, impatience. All those are, unfortunately, are governing our mind at that moment. So that's why we have to detach from all those elements and gain the inner peace, inner quietness, and access to other levels of consciousness. But that needs an inner work, a gradual, steady. Every day is not just going 1 hour somewhere and practicing and then going back home and uh, forgetting of that. No, it's 24 hours. It should be 24 hours in our life, trying to to build that internal awareness. It's all about awareness. I mean, we can be aware, conscious, or unconscious, and mechanical. Well, at any point of life, we have those two. At any moment, have those two paths, we could say. And of course, if we have the will to awaken, we are trying to maintain the conscious and the aware, present. If we forget ourselves, then we just continue unconscious, mechanical. It's all those thoughts without any order that are coming to us and and guiding us wrongly. But it's our choice. So that's the work. It's a conscious choice that we have at any moment.
It's difficult for so many people because of the constant bombardment of
Okay,
outside influences.
it is.
I mean, the internet alone, these, of course, are terrible because everyone is so distracted and they're not focusing on themselves. So there's always something new that's pulling them away, pulling their attention away. And I think personally, I think a lot of it's done on purpose. You keep a passive, controlled civilization. People are more
You're
easily
right.
controlled.
Yes,
So,
I
and
agree. Yes.
is we really need to limit those distractions and take the time to go within and do that inner work. But again, it's very difficult. The society makes it super challenging to do that, and for average people to make that choice because sometimes they don't even know they have a choice. They're so
Well,
programmed.
that's the point. Yeah, yeah. We need to tell. We need to explain that there is a choice. There is a conscious choice, and of course, as you say, it's quite difficult. The more I mean, our society gets complexity, or there's more technology, the more difficult it is.
Hmm.
I believe in uh, 2 or 3 centuries ago, it was much easier. Of course, there were other problems. Maybe was no food, no electricity, no. It was hard, physically hard. But
Hmm.
I think mentally and spiritually was easier because everything was much slower, and people would have a different, relationship also,
Hmm.
not based on quick responses. We, as you said, the telephone, we all want quick responses. We send the message, we are just there waiting for the response. All that is distracting us a lot. Is distracting us. Is well the day, most of the day, our mind is just jumping, as you said, as a monkey mind, jumping from one thing to another, and just in very rare moments we sit down and experience something different. Maybe nature, maybe when stay at home and with a good music, or strange moments in life are telling us that there's something else, not that hustle uh, of our daily life. But we should try to make an effort, and use the technology and use our modern devices, but with consciousness. I mean, without letting us drag by them, but using them with consciousness, and having time without all that technology, and then going inward. Any practice, any discipline that can help us in that way is very welcome. But yeah, I agree completely with you. I mean, it's done on purpose to distract us, to make us more mechanical. The more mechanical we are, the easiest is to manipulate us.
Hmm.
The easiest is to make us, going into consumption, into buying, selling, or all into business. So life is much more than business, of course. When we have all our needs, basic needs covered, why do we have to, spend our energy so much in material things, while there is something beyond matter, which is far greater than all the physical world. But
Now,
that doesn't mean we have to go outside society.
right.
Sorry, it doesn't mean we can live. We should live. We are living in modern society, but uh, we should do it consciously.
Okay. Now, with your association and some of the goals you're looking into trying to achieve, where do extraterrestrials fit into it?
Well, we're talking about consciousness. We're talking about consciousness,
Hmm.
and extraterrestrials. Most of them, the great majority, are into that conscious level. They are in a higher consciousness level. In universe, as the author of the book Hercolubus or Planet, he explains we are in the lowest of the levels of humanity in universe. So because we have developed all that ego-driven, activities and all our main activities are based on selfishness. We want to earn more money than needed. We want to dominate. In general, I'm talking in general, of course, as a
Mm-hmm.
society, as a world. We see wars everywhere, and we see all that upheaval. So, in other planets, in those alien societies that are contacting us, um, the society is based on conscious, awareness, and in a higher, much higher spiritual level. So, as a result, they have no wars, they have no conflicts, they know how to control nature in a good way. They're not under the nature, you know, um, as we are. That we have typhoons, we have floods, etc. And of course, they have a superior technology because the higher the level of consciousness, the higher also the knowledge and the technology. And Avian Blue, the author of Hercolubus Planet, explains in detail, how the Venus society is and the Mars society is. Those are societies that are in a higher level of existence, and they are trying to contact us, not just the Venus and Mars societies, but also far other societies that are far from us, are trying also to tell us that we are not going through the right path.
Mm-hmm.
We risk to destroy our own society. I mean, there are lots of nuclear, devices scattered in the world, and that's a real threat. But extraterrestrials, of course, they are trying to prevent that in some way without interfering, because we've been told that the extraterrestrials are going to control us. They want to steal our wealth. They want to. They don't need to. They're not going to do that. First of all, because they are higher consciousness beings, and they don't need all that we have here. They don't need. What they are trying to do is to help us understand that we need to shift. We need to shift and to go towards consciousness. So that's the point. Our understanding of the alien issue is that they're showing us what we could be, what we could have become, but we haven't,
Mm-hmm.
because we've unconsciously we've chosen the path of negativity, of the ego, of the conflict, and the greed, etc. So they're showing us what a human being can achieve. Of course, they have achieved that. So we should be able to also achieve that. But they're not going to interfere, because there's a cosmic law that prevents. I mean, the cosmic law is not to interfere in anyone, in other people. Even we, as in our relationships, sometimes we try to control people, to dominate people. We want this or that, do what we want to do, and that's very a great mistake. That's a big mistake. We should respect freedom. Free will is a sacred principle, and aliens are respecting that. They're just showing, but the choice is ours. They're not going to interfere in a way, stopping us from doing anything, or pushing us to do something else. No, they're just showing, but the choice finally is our choice, is our destiny. We are making our own destiny.
With that being said, one thing I'm always curious about, because I always hear how extraterrestrials are wanting to help humanity. My question is, why do they care? Why do they care about the human race, and why would they want to help us. Why wouldn't they just like, okay, these people, now we're passing on by. This is a bad neighborhood. Let's go somewhere else. We don't need to deal with this.
Well, we would say that the great cosmic law is love. So the higher the consciousness, the higher the love. So those alien beings who have reached a certain level of consciousness we can't even imagine, they feel love for other societies, other human groups, other humanities. And of course, for that reason, they try to help, not to interfere, but to help. So I wouldn't say, well, it's like a duty without being a duty, without being compulsory. It's something that stems from them, from their heart. They want to help. They see us as a failed society, as a failed humans, and of course they feel pity. The same, sometimes we see, let's say, a disabled, with all the respect for disabled people, we see someone suffering. We feel that we have to help them. We feel pity, we feel sorry, we think, oh, what should I do? What can I do to help that person? So I would say it's the same in from their view. They're trying to help because they are, in fact, they are loved, those human beings.
Okay, that makes sense. Um, how long do you think they've been around here, been around us and interacting with us?
I would say that well, from century, I mean, since the dawn of the planet, they're always been in contact. And I think, and from some reports that are in ancient history, they may have been visible in an easy way in the past. All those, even if you read the Bible and you say that people from coming from heavens and going from the earth to heaven in some way, well, could that be also those higher beings? I mean, appearing within among us and then going back. And so since since I don't know exactly, but for many centuries, they've been around because they live in in the universe. The universe is vast. I mean, it's some people say, well, there's just one planet inhabited in the universe. What a daring, statement.
Hmm.
Millions and billions of planets and galaxies, and then thinking that we are the only ones. That's a bit.
Bit arrogant. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Short-sighted too. Um, with some of these alien races, which there's a whole slew of them, that different types of races, some similar, some more like us, some totally different from us. And as you mentioned, most of them seem to be here to help. Is there any here that are not here to help? Any type of race or civilization that maybe is does not have our best interests at heart?
Well, I mean, in the same way that we are not allowed to go to other planets because we would spread our wrongdoing.
Mhm.
I mean, in the same way, mm, other humanities could be like us. I mean, trying to conquest or trying to dominate or trying to steal, are not allowed to come. They're not allowed to contact us. They're not allowed to harm us.
Mhm.
So that's my point of view, and from what I understand, and we as the Alcione Association also have learned and have experienced. There's no, I mean, no harm from all other humanities. I mean, the harm is done by ourselves, by our own, acts.
Have you yourself ever had any experiences with any of these extraterrestrials?
Oh, I had one in the astral dimension, but not physically,
Not physically.
not
Is it
physically.
something you'd be willing to talk about?
I mean, you mean the experience?
Your experience, yes.
Well, I don't like talking about my own experience.
Okay.
Don't I don't think that they are also interesting. I mean, sometimes I've read about them, a lot of people also experiences of, from what they had, but I don't think there's something. I don't think there's anything interesting for another person
Okay.
about my own. But well, I can say that I had an experience with extraterrestrials, but uh, um, also experiences are meant by for for oneself. I mean, sometimes we get in the astral dimension also experiences that are meant for us because our own being is trying to help us in some way, show us something, and it's not. I would say it's not correct to then disclose
Hmm.
that experience because it's like something say say private or something that has a value for oneself but not for other people. So that's my point.
Okay.
I
I,
hope
I
you understand that. But
I do. I understand and respect that.
thank
Um,
you.
a lot of people are always interested in what's happening with other people. The only thing where it interests me is if it's helping to spread maybe some knowledge and awareness. Some people like Whitley Strieber and other experiencers who have shared their stories and received a lot of trouble for it in their lives, but it still helps kind of being an awakening for some people. I've had my own couple of experiences, nothing too earth-shattering, but one was definitely personal. It was directed at me. Nobody, I was with a group of people and nobody else saw it, but I did. And that was unique. I'm still not totally sure what the meaning of was it, what the meaning was for, but I know what I experienced. And it happened about 10 years ago, and I'm still trying to process it. So,
So
you,
that's good. I mean, having experiences, it's just like a boost to oneself. I mean, it pushes you because the experience is telling you there's something else. I mean, there's something beyond that. It's not imagination. It's not something uh, light, but it's something deep.
right.
So that's good. But I think the best we should do is try to get our own experiences.
Yeah, I've had well, I've I've had plenty of experiences in my life with different types of phenomenon, what you could call paranormal, dreams. One of the things I know you talk about is like prophecies, um, and I've had some precognitive dreams. Um, and it's interesting when those happen. For me, they're very symbolic. Like I dreamed about 9/11 2 days before it happened. And but the dream itself was full of symbolism. So it wasn't showing exactly what happened.
Mhm.
And I didn't put it together until a couple of days after 9/11 happened. Then all the symbolism, the whole dream came rushing back, and I was able to go, aha, I understand this now, what this meant. But yet, why did I dream of something like that a couple days before it happened? Um, because what's the purpose of it? Unless it's just my consciousness tuning in to what would you call it? Collective consciousness, the energy of an event that's about to happen. And that's a little off track, but when we're talking about prophecies, where people like that, they have either a dream or a vision and they're seeing something that's supposed to happen in the future and they're able to predict and say, this is going to happen. This is part of what's to come. So I'm interested to hear a little bit about more about that from your perspective.
Well, we always based our association based on what the author V.M. Rabolu explains in his work, in his book, and that's for, I mean, what from what we have experienced and understood, that's quite I mean, the clear prophecy that in the end is going to happen. So, but first of all, we need to go through different steps, we would say, or events. So we are close to a nuclear war. We're quite close to a nuclear war. We're not talking about dates at any moment, because in the physical world, what I mean happens is just the consequence of the, we could say, like, the crystallization of what it has started in the causal dimension. So there are different dimensions: causal, mental,
Mm-hmm.
astral,
Mm-hmm.
physical. So it all goes from top to bottom. And so there's no time. In those higher dimensions, there's no time. So here is, I mean, it would say, there's no point in giving a date. But what we know is that is going to happen. So sometimes things are delayed, sometimes things speed up, depending on what we do. Of course, we can always modify what is written or what is coming down. We can always modify through our, behavior, through our deeds. But basically, we're going through a major war. First, nuclear conflict. Then there will be a period of conventional wars and a second nuclear conflict. After that second nuclear conflict, because of nuclear pollution and all the destruction, I mean, a great part of humanity will not be there, will not be here. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
will have gone. And finally, there's another third conflict, nuclear conflict, which is going to wipe out most of our Earth. Not to finish, because there's a restart, and that is talked, is written also in different cultures, that there is a restart, to start anew, to
Mm-hmm.
start a new civilization. Same happened in Atlantis. I mean, it's the same cycle repeating after. When a humanity has failed as a whole and is close to its own destruction through conflicts, then there is something above our technology that clears everything up. In Atlantis, it was the great deluge, the flood,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's going to be, a great upheaval, boosted and finished, to be arranged by an external planet, a planet that a flyby or passing planet. That is Hercolubus. That's why the title of the book. So Hercolubus is going to, after all those conflicts, when humanity is in a very bad state and nature, that planet is going to make the pole shift happen through attraction, not through collision, but through attraction, gravitational and electromagnetic attraction. So it's going to do the pole shift, and after the pole shift, Earth, land will have changed, seas will have changed. There will be a new sort of new Earth with part of the humanity, part of humanity. So that humanity will be the one that will start again a new cycle. Same happened in Atlantis, where the Atlanteans, or the people there who survived, formed a new humanity, which are the one we are in now. So went to Egypt, went to Tibet, went to Central Asia, and now similar things, but not through water, not the flood, but a pole shift and also volcanic eruptions and earthquakes. Will be like a sort of. It's said it is fire. It's a fire, a fire issue more than a water issue as it was in the Atlantean. But that is the prophecy. That is the the narrative or the events that are going to unfold, and we are at the beginning of that. We are now, like preparing the first great conflict. So unfortunately, that is because of our own deeds. It's not something that comes because of the sake of it, but it's the result of our own deeds, the accumulated karma through centuries. And it has a positive aspect, because we're all, as we said, free to work on ourselves. A lot of people have the desire, or let's say the internal call to do that, but we don't decide. We're not strong enough to do that. Once we are before a great upheaval, before decisive scenario, we can choose either to work on ourselves, to understand, and to be more free of that. Because when there is conflict, if we are not conscious, we act, let's say, through fear, through violence, whatever. We act in a more wrong way. When we are conscious, we use that to work on ourselves. So we use that to start an inner work, to see if we can understand and get away from that, because it is possible to escape the disaster. It is, but it is through consciousness. So once we gain consciousness, we know what to do, and we will also be helped. Anyone on earth is going to be helped, provided that there is a desire to awaken consciousness. That's the thing. I mean, the humanity that is going to continue will be humanity with a certain level of consciousness. I'm not saying it will be of this religion, of that religion, of this. No, I mean, it could be anyone, but with a degree of consciousness. That means inner work and awareness and internal, spirituality. But real spirituality, not a belief, not being in a certain group, but through real work. And that was in Atlantis. It was in Lemuria, which are our previous civilizations, which after the cycle of all that civilization, when they fell, when at the end, at the Iron Age, we're in our Iron Age. The first is the Golden Age, then this Silver Age, Bronze, and Iron Age. We are in our Iron Age. So, if we look around, sometimes we think, well, this should be wiped out and started from scratch again, because we've built a society based on greed and power and competition, and it goes stronger and stronger. So we need to, the great law needs to, flatten out, take what's what's has a value, the
Mhm.
consciousness of people who are conscious, and make them start again and start with a good base. It may seem hard, it may seem you know mm, too too catastrophic, but it's what happened in previous in Atlantis. It's what happened in Lemuria, and we understand that it's what is going to happen here because all the signs and all the events point to that. And also from our own experience, as we said a while ago, we have our own experiences. We have some premonitorious dreams, premonitions, intuitions. All that points to that scenario, which we don't know when it's going to happen exactly, but we are in it. We are at the beginning of it, and it could be a few years, could be a bit more. We don't know. That's very hard. I wouldn't talk about a specific calendar. But all the facts, if we observe, we don't need. I mean, I don't want people to believe what I'm saying. Just trying to explain. But I would like anyone to observe objectively, without any previous idea of whatever. Observe objectively, day after day. Observe inside us. Observe outside. See what happens, and we'll see that unfortunately the destiny of humanity is I mean cannot lead to anywhere else. We are just we've chosen the wrong way. So that is
It's something that I call the Great Reset. It's happened before, it will happen again. Humanity reaches a certain point, and whether through natural catastrophe or our own doing, we get set back all the way to the beginning, and we have to start learning again, moving forward. One of the topics I'm interested in is the fact that there seems to be such advanced building technology, like the pyramids in South America, these cultures that had way more advanced technology than we did. But, again, then we hit that reset button, we start off, all that knowledge is lost, and we have to figure it out as we go. We still haven't gotten to that level of sophistication yet.
no
And at this point in time, I don't think we're going to make it before the next reset. Um,
no, we are not going to make it because we instead of going towards that technology, just talking pyramids and all that, we are going the other way.
mhm.
I mean, it's as you say, the technology now it's very fascinating present technology, but has no deep sense, such as the pyramids, which were a place where energies were, concentrated to help people to to access other dimensions. That was a superior technology, as you say, that has been lost and it needs to come again, but through consciousness.
I think it's been trying to come back, but it's being actively suppressed. I mean, over here, I don't know if you've heard much about this. They're talking about how there's at least 11 scientists that were working on projects that would have been a great benefit to humanity. Everything from um, free energy, free energy sources to uh, anti-gravitation uh, devices for travel or a lot of other different techniques. But these people are now winding up missing or dead. It's like someone is actively trying to keep us from not advancing like that so that they have the control, which I think, of course, is going to lead to our eventual downfall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
you're right. You're right. You're right. Yes, I
so
agree.
the book that your association offers for free, um, the author, who was the author and how long ago was this written?
The author was from Colombia,
Mm-hmm.
Hercolubus was a Colombian man who who since early age knew all those high realities and dimensions. He was visited often by aliens, by those people from other other planets, and he did a lot. He made a lot of speeches in South America, and even came to Europe. And he wrote that book in 1998.
Okay.
He passed away in year 2000, and he wrote it as his last, work, and saying, well, this is what is going to come, and this is how people can awaken and can work internally. He wrote it very, very short, quite short, um, in some way to explain that things are not complicated, not complex. So we just need to focus and work steadily. So there are no theories, no complex, things to understand. And but and some people may think, well, this is very simple, this is too simple. Well, not too simple, because it's the practice is what comes after. So that's the key message of the book, being simple and practical and explaining what is coming, just to make us be aware of where our society is going to, without I explained quite sharply, quite clearly, and what is the final of our civilization, and the only thing we can do, seriously do, is to awaken consciousness. That's the main message.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we are spreading. Some years ago, we used to send a paperback, a physical copy, but we're getting so many requests now that it's impossible. We cannot afford that. So it can be downloaded from our website. It is alcioneassociation.com, alcioneassociation.com. And then where there are different languages, and you can just download the book and get the PDF copy.
Okay.
And the main thing I would say is we're inviting any listener to put it into practice with an open mind. I mean, as I was saying, I don't want people to believe in anything blindly. There's no point in that. But the important thing is to start an inner work. It's the only thing that can save us in some way. Um, before those difficult times, somewhere we are already in difficult times. The main tool is awakening consciousness. Be conscious, be aware, observe ourselves, get rid of all useless psychological nature that we have inside. And as we gradually do that, because it's not something to be done in 1 week, of course, is our life. The more we practice, the more the results we get, and we'll see by ourselves. That's the only thing I can say.
Okay, great. So again, the book is available on the Alcione Association website, and I will get a copy myself. I'm looking forward to reading it. Charles, thank you again for coming on the
Well,
show.
thanks to you. I
And,
appreciate a lot. It's been a very, very pleasant conversation with you, and I appreciate it, really.
well, thank you, and well, thank you again for coming on. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
That was our guest, Charles Esquerda from the Alcione Association. Very interesting discussion. Their book is available on the website, as they said, the AlcioneAssociation.com, available for free. And I just want to say that we're going to be doing more shows. I have more guests lined up after my break. So we'll be getting back into the groove of things. I'm also going to be coming back with a second podcast with Irene Allen Block, my co-founder at the Paranormal UK Radio Network, where this airs. called the Shadow Parlor. We have a website set up called theshadowparlor.com, and we spell parlor the English way, Parlour. So if you go out there, you'll see we post a lot of creepy stories, events, things about past investigations, very thought provoking subjects. And we have our Facebook page as well. I highly recommend that you go out there, and it's part of the Paranormal UK radio network. So that's exciting and can't wait to start doing those shows too. Spreading myself thin here, but I love it. So, in any case, thank you again for tuning in, and we will catch you all next time. Until then, be good humans. We'll see you then.